Corbin here, and welcome to day 3 of building my roguelite web game. Let me verify that everything is working fine. Let me go into the live section, and yeah, it seems I am live here, so let me watch it. I am live here. Yeah, it sounds good, so maybe just a bit higher the voice. So here you have the image on the thumbnail. Basically, yesterday we were working on this, and the last thing we did, well, let's just do a brief recap of what we are building. So basically, let me put the link here. So yeah, now it's time to see the game in action. So basically everything here becomes because of the Lucky Tower game I saw. So this is a game where there's a tower with different floors. Each floor has several doors, like we can see here in the screenshot, and during them there's some RNG that there are random effects. So then the goal is to reach the latest floor and just win the game. There are some enemies, also some allies, and there are different activities. So at the end, it's based on that. I wanted to build a roguelite also, but this time for web, that it's free for everyone. And I changed a bit the topic, and instead of being more on the fantasy side, I do it still some fantasy part, but based on an office. So if we come here, we can see the first prompt, the initial idea. Basically, we are trying to build Escape the Company, that is a dark comedy roguelite set inside an impossibly vast corporate skyscraper that has become a living organism. The player plays as a junior analyst who arrives for their first day of work, only to discover that the building has consumed reality itself. Every door leads to a different department, each twisted into its own ecosystem, like marketing is a neon cult obsessed with engagement, finance is a labyrinth of greed-fueled vaults, HR rewrites memories to enforce compliance, and so on and so on. And here basically the gameplay combines fast exploration, light action combat, risk-reward decisions, and procedural discovery. With that in mind, I've been working for a couple of days, more or less around 1 hour each, and we've come up with this that we see here. So basically we have this game. Let me ensure it's up and running. No, it is not. Well, here before starting and showing what the game itself is, this can be seen in the last live on how we left it. The last thing we did was basically run here. Let me see if codex gets updated. Yeah. Basically, the last thing we tried is, instead of using basic shapes and colors, the backgrounds of the room generates some visuals that act like kind of sprites, and when the rooms are randomly generated, they use these sprites, different walls depending on room types, the same floors, and some random objects that there are in the background, such as desks, chairs, printers, etc. So it worked for 16 minutes and a half, and since it did this, I didn't change anything. So basically it created this new file that it's room art plus the game scenes, and also created some imagery. So if we go here, we can see that basically just from the codex part in the Visual Studio, just not doing anything else, it has created this stuff, these backgrounds, and with all that, it has created different things here in the room art, on the different imagery for each of the sections, and also for the elements. And just with that, if I run npm run dev, Here we can see how the game looks now. So I refresh, I clock in, and yeah, we are still this blue thing, but we are in the middle of what it looks more like a building. Here we can see on where my mouse is that there's this table and this chair, and this is basically because it's wrong in the sprite, so this is something I realized, but yeah, this is easy to change. But yeah, it looks better. Then also for sure the doors does not look fine now, but yeah, we can work on that. Then it changes the different rooms, everything looks quite fine. Here we can choose our compensation, so that when we clear a combat wall, a combat room, then we can take one of the two benefits. Each one has different, like company laptop or emergency coffee. So let's go with a company laptop that makes me be faster when using my weapon. So here also we have the map that shows the rooms that we have. This is only in debug, so I don't know if it's on the on the top left side we see this debug label. Basically, when we build this, it doesn't have this option, and yeah, basically this is it. I didn't expect the codex to be that good also with the image, so yeah, we see that, well, we have this emergency coffee to take the energy and health. So here we can see that this chair and table, it's a bit weird. So let me see why this happens. Is there a pause element? No, there's no pause. So it's also something that maybe can be into the future ideas. So let's say pause with some key. The sprite atlas automatically from VS Code Codex. This is what we did, so it's good. But then if we go to the image, as I said, the props source, we can see that the table and the chair has this. So if we come here, the chair has been like moved, or how do you say that? You just switch the direction. So there is a word for that, but I cannot come up with a word. And also there's this thing here in the bottom. So this is not perfect, but still, like this part, but still it looks promising. So I think that this change, I can change it manually. I think it will be faster than just doing it using AI. For that we have Photopia, that is free. Just you can create a new project. How is this? Is there a property somehow that I can see? No, there's not. I'll open it in here. It says properties, details, and yeah, here I have the size. It's the width 1536 1024, and this is 96 dpi's, and the background, let's say transparent. So let's create this and let me paste that. I allow. Here basically what I'm gonna be is showing the rules, the rulers. What is it? So if it was 124, it's gonna be 512, and this, if it's how much it was, 1536 is 512 each. Nah, I think I'll go faster if I just say everything went well, but good. However, let me at least commit this to ensure git status, not void, git status, git add, git status, git commit, use sprites. Good. Then let me say that, however, the office props source image is not proportional. The different elements have different sizes, what makes it hard to cut. Ensure that the space of each element fits in 1/6 of the image, and make the sizes kind of proportional to the element they are. Just like that. Let's see what it does. This is one thing that we need to do. Also, something I've realized about the game itself is, let me close this, also the size. Oh, no, let's see. This can be done faster than AI or by me. Photopia move roller to specific pixel. You must use the options bar while they gated. Options bar and X and Y, okay. Which options bar? What means option bar? Okay, yeah, that I like it too. I'll do a rectangle. Where is it? Here. 512. Okay. And then with that, I think this is the best approach. Perfect, so now we have this place. Now what it's time to do is take different parts and ensure they fit. I'll be just creating a background here. Let me pick this color, select everything, create a new layer, and paint it with this color. Where is it? Here. So from here, I'll move this into the other screen to make sure that I realize whenever it finishes. But here now I'm gonna just unlock this pool, make sure that this fits into each of the boxes. So that. It. Also, let's make it a bit smaller, everything. Also this here. Add it to right, make it more centered. Same here. Yeah, I think this needs to be way smaller. Yeah, this week it's fine. Just pick the center. And the plant for sure also, maybe too optimistic. Here I will make it smaller to like this. And just like that, I'll just export as was it the PNG? Oh, for sure it didn't finish yet, so here it's still running. This is a PNG, so I'll put the save export as PNG. I'll make sure it's PNG, it's quality perfect. I'll just put save project, and here let me store it as tiles for the moment. Save. Then let me move it here on the other screen. And instead, well, I'm gonna be using these instead of tiles, office props tiles, because I wanted to break this, and I'll do a quick search of how it was the other one here. Oh, it has finished. So at the end, everything more or less finished the same at the same time. And yeah, it did more or less the same, so I'm not gonna change anything. It's the same time, but at the same time I could have been doing any other thing if I wouldn't be doing this. So this by default, I'll just npm run dev. Clock in. Perfect. Now, yeah, it does not, the size is not well, but at least there's this better. So why is then not enough? I think it's because of the size. But well, I'll just take it. I'll accept the status, give that everything. Nah, I'll remove my two elements, delete permanently. Status, comic, resize, office props. Okay, so let me see what else did we say before. Some the pause with some key. Perfect. So I'll add this because it should be simple. I want that during the game there is a pause key that whenever click, it stops counting the time, the enemies, and the player. Like the screen should clearly display a message saying the game is paused, and the same key should allow replay again and pause the game. That one should be fairly easy, or at least this is what I think. So I'll remove that. And in the meantime, I'll try to use here ChatGPT in a new chat and say, here are the assets I have for my web-based roguelite game. I use them for backgrounds and for assets. Generate, nah, I don't think I will do it through that. Let's see just this. I'll trace the game loop and input handling, then add a single pose toggle that freezes timing and all movement while showing an unmistakable post overlay. Afterward, I'll run the project existing checks and a focus gameplay verification. The run timer is currently wall clock based, so freezing physics alone would still count post seconds. I'm wiring pose into both layers, the live sync freezes physics and scheduled game events, while the run state subtracts every post interval from the final completion time. I'll use P as the toggle. Perfect, I think it's all the obvious one here, so nothing to say. Then I think that the next thing I'm gonna be asking for maybe is list the possible here generate assets for the player instead of being a blue square. Then generate assets for the any different, add more enemies to the game, and generate assets, visual assets aligned with the game style instead of using shapes. Then add more items to the in-game, or more items slash power ups to the game. Then instead of displaying the names of the selected of the chosen items slash power ups, use generate visual assets for them, both when choosing them and when showing the inventory. Yeah, I think this is where I would like to achieve today, but as you've seen, it's it takes quite long to generate the images and everything. So yeah, before for the previous part, I don't remember how much time it took. Here it was 5 minutes, well, not that much, but it was just generating one image. So I'll see here. I guess I could use parallel agents to achieve that, but still, since I don't think it's a quick win here or a big change, I'll continue one by one, so this way I can review properly. Maybe if it would grow more, it would make more sense. Right now I prefer to be just one single threaded, let's say, my work. Yeah, I think that also then with this final screen improvement, yeah, I think that I would shift this out below. Then also the update the menu with the style of the assets of the game. Right now looks oldish. Perfect, the pose thing has been implemented, so I'll trust this. I'll say add pose key, and I'm gonna be asking directly to do the first thing. So the new chat, I don't like generate assets for the player sprite, and instead of the current blue square, ensure the character follows the game style. Check the first prompt and initial idea plus the current assets to align the style. I'll just put first prompt and initial idea here open, and also I'll add the files and folders to the whole, what is it, public assets. Like this, plus the images and files and folders, public assets, props, like this. And in the meantime, we can verify this pause behavior. So npm run dev. That's good. Then it's time to plug in. Yeah, for sure, this does not look nice. What did I do? The pause. So game pause. Let me see what happens with an enemy with okay, so both all the elements are fine. I like that part. Then yeah, I'm not sure this platforms thingy I like it right now, to be sure. To be honest, also this greenish thing here, it's weird, but yeah, for sure the platforms thing requires a review. Review platforms generation and value added to the game. In the meantime, let's see what it has been doing for the last minute and a half. I'm using the image generation skill because this calls for a new raster character asset. I'll first inspect the game brief, existing room art, and play rendering code. Then I'll generate a style match sprite, integrate it, and verify in game. The Windows paths only fail because it would pass the UNC form. The same files are available through the local Linux paths here. I've confirmed there's a side view platform action set up. The player is currently that match rectangle, moves left, right, jumps, and flips facing for attacks. I'm narrowing the character to a readable junior analyst silhouette that remains clear against every room, with the same mood painted office palette and acid lime accents already used by the UI. So yeah, we are already generating the skill is generating the asset, generating a production sprite sheet rather than a character poster, 4 side view poses, idle, 2 round faces, jump, 1 consistent analysis design, crisp silhouette, no shadows, and a flat chroma field for the clean transparency. And I'm using the reception, bullpen, and boardroom and prop sheet strictly as style references, not as edit targets. So yeah, for sure this is what I would expect it to do. There's not too much to see here now. This is something that I've been thinking. I'm doing these live sessions to make sure that I can prove myself that for 7 days, spending for around 1 hour each. Maybe on the weekend I'll be doing it a bit harder to see if I finish. But yeah, it works. So I could be doing this out of the live sessions, but I'd rather do the whole process here. But yet those 10 minutes waiting for things to happen, it's weird. Okay, the first generation landed well, so let's see what it has done here. If I refresh, no, there's nothing. Readable lanyards, title and stapler. The generator chose vivid green instead of the request magenta, which is a valid chroma field and does not conflict with the character. I'm removing it locally now and will keep the physics hitbox independent from the larger painted artwork. Okay, where did it take? It says that it has generated properly things, but as you can see here, the changes, there's nothing, so I'm afraid it's not true. It's generating the in TMP I saw, so maybe it's still moving it here at some point soon. What else do we see here? Well, for sure this floor 404, it's not too nice. Also the effects when losing health, it's not really nice either, so I'll take that with me too. Visual effects slash feedback when losing health, HP. Mandatory break complete. Okay, so this takes health, it's nice. Also the doors, for sure the doors are not. Adapt doors by sprites to feel more like in the game style instead of the current visual style of the current version. Perfect. Now it has phasers, cardboard canvas. Let's see if it, yeah, there's something here. Okay, I like it. Then let's see how it does with this. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. For sure, this style is weird. Yeah, it's good, though this game does not feel, I mean, it's crazy how in 6 minutes it has generated the whole thing, not only the visuals, but also the framing part and integrated into phaser, so. Yeah, now it's just a matter also of proportions. Don't feel right. Player and enemies look too small compared with the background and elements and the objects render. And I think this is the next thing to do. Come on, I don't know what it's doing now. I mean, it has done this, then I can improve it later. Okay, good. And it has created this whole thing and added this different data about the game player. Perfect. It's reloading room art, also player art. Not good. Then later I guess I'll do it the same for the enemies. Let's see how much time it takes. Pretty cool. However, the proportions. Oh my. Proportions. Also, I say game background music, different by rooms or by levels or by something. Okay, it has implemented the thing. Let me refresh what it has done. Here at the end there's everything. Let me refresh the page and plug in. Perfect, this is what we had. I like it. Add player sprite sheet. Then just, let's say, this proportions thing. Also this part is done. So only the adapt doors by sprite would be required. Okay, so we said that today we wanted to... Here it's the end of the visual parts. I said that today I wanted to take this visual side, but let's see how far we can reach. Basically here on the bottom we see it says that it agrees. Yeah, for sure it agrees to everything. But the figure is good, but it's being displayed at only about 68 visible pixels tall because each sprite frame includes generous transparent padding. Correcting the actual on screen rather than regenerating the art, the player will be roughly that many. The rescale is applied, also enlarge the player's physics. Okay, so let's see how it looks now. npm run dev. It refreshes, then yeah, still. I think the issue is in the background more than the, yeah. Better. However, seems the issue is more on the background. On the background, walls and objects. I think they look too big. Update the backgrounds to be, how do you say this? Update the backgrounds to be not smaller, but neither bigger. So to be more proportional to the player size based on the game grows to the whole screen, and also adapt how the background objects are sized to be more integrated with the player. Okay, I guess that this, since it needs to update up to 6 to 7 backgrounds, I think this will take a bit. So I'm not sure if we can do in the meantime some other parts. Yeah, you can ask to generate more things. Is it possible to actually launch multiple? Yeah, I can. VS Code codecs run multiple parallel agents. Is it possible? VS Code OpenAI support running multiple parallel agents primarily through Git worktrees and terminal multiplexers like TMX to isolate file edit and prevent conflicts. Git worktrees run codecs in each directory. This is the standard pattern for both the codecs app and CLI workflows. Terminal orchestrator tools, codecs. let's see what it does. I would like to see actually how it's changing things, but not the imagery. So it helps with the players, the positions, the sizes, but it's not touching the backgrounds. Okay, it's I want to really see what it did. Yeah, I don't know why I did stop this. I'll refresh. Yeah, maybe the object's still a bit smaller, but we're on the good path here. Yeah, the size of this looks good. I want to die. Begin new employment. Much better. However, the supervisor enemies walk in a lower level and I cannot kill them. The drone, but I think the enemies. Enemies walk in a lower level and thus I cannot kill the supervisors. The lower level now, I cannot kill the supervisors because my bullets go above them. I like the approach of instead of resizing everything, it just has played with this background thing on the top, so don't scale it that much. So I think it's good. Data collision height mismatch introduced by the enemy rescale, the larger supervisor body change where arcade physics settles its center while the stapler still fires from the player fixed chest level offset. I'll make the projectile aim against the enemy's actual vertical bounce while keeping its trajectory horizontal and preserving the larger proportion. No, I don't think this is the thing I want to change actually. And yeah, I should have committed anything, so okay, let's see what it does. Yeah, it was just 2 minutes before it was stupid. Now it's... I hope it's more or less the same. Also, let's see the credits, how they are. We are at 86, it's already Thursday, so I'm more than okay with this. I found the second part of the regression, resize ground enemies were still being spawned by their all center coordinates, so yeah, this is the thing I wanted to fix, so good. So the larger bodies become partially inside the floor and preserving the original foot position instead, and addition small target aware vertical correction to stabler shots of fighting from platforms can still reach. Oh, that's really good. I didn't think of that and I think this is good. Also, let's see how it is. It has edited this. Let me refresh. I have the latest version. Log in. I don't know how it will look, but yeah, company laptop. I'm fuck. I wanted to. Yeah, they are too tall now. Let's say. So this is good. Better. Now, however, I'll just save that. Its status with that. Precise visual game proportions plus bullets directions to enemies vertically. Now I'd like the however, now all the enemies. No, I don't care about the enemies, it's good. Perfect, so now I would say this. It's one big change, or maybe the enemies. Yeah, this is a big thing for sure. Add more enemies to the game and generate more enemy types to the game and generate visual assets aligned with the gamer style instead of using shapes for all of them. There should exist at least 10 different enemies. You could make that depending on the room, there appear one type or all or another of them. For example, there is an HR enemy with a cooler name that only appears in HR rooms. Let's see, this for sure it will take long. So it's been already 46 minutes. I hope it finishes in the next 15 so that I can show the real things. I think this is the last thing that we will do for today, because the other things will take more time. But yeah, hello, I see there's a second viewer here, so welcome you. I don't know if you're a real person or you're more of a bot, so feel free to put anything in the chat and ask any question. We are building here a roguelite web-based game, so we got based on the, here it was called Lucky Tower. That is a web, it's not a web, it's a game that basically needs to, you have a tower with different floors and each floor has different doors, so you walk in through one door and you can find different events and enemies. There are different enemies, also there are different allies, and there's some randomness that makes your game be different each time. So we are trying to build something based on that, but instead of making it a full desktop game, I'm building it as a web game, and here you can find it. I'm working as for the third day. npm run dev. Yeah, we are applying some changes right now. The codex is applying changes, so it may be that I refresh at some point the game by itself, but here you can see I am building a character here that lives in an office and just needs to go through different rooms and ensure they can be properly fired. So it has entered a new company and it's trying to resign, but he cannot. This is basically the lore behind the game. And here we can see in the map, this is a debug thing only for me while debugging in dev, that you can see how the different rooms are generated. So I'm from the onboarding area where I'm joining my company, then I can choose, each game changes for sure the kind of rooms, always, though there's the onboarding at the very beginning and the escape elevator at the very end. And before the escape elevator, there's always a regional performance review, that it's like the big boss, that it can be different in the games. So for example, I have here, I'm on an entrance, so it's a normal room, there's no enemies in here. You can see it's also a platformers game. I'm still not sure how to do it. If I go to the map, it doesn't care where I go, if it's payroll or records management, because both of them would work. So I'll go just through here, and here I have enemies. Now I'm asking Codex to improve its visuals because it just doesn't look great. And whenever I kill someone, I can choose my compensation. Not when I kill someone, but when I clear a room. So here I can either choose a benefit, it's a company laptop that I can use, can be faster with the stapler cannon, or just emergency coffee that would restore health and move faster. So in this case I have full health, so I would go with the company laptop to be faster. So, and this is my whole game now. It's been done in Phaser, so I don't know if you even know this technology or not. I had not used it before, and yeah, it's seems great. Yeah, mailroom. There's also some kind of rooms where there's nothing. So here on the top right, you can see that it's a safe part. Nothing happens. There's also the next one that it's safe. And also there are rest things. So the rest ones recover energy. So this is a rest, a legal discovery. There are a few things that I would like to change. Legal discovery here, mandatory break complete, and I restored some health. So here on the top left, we can see that my kind of an inventory, and as I said, here on the bottom, we can see AD to move, also the arrows, W to jump or the arrow, and finally the F to fire, stapler, and the P to pause the game, plus some map that is only in debug, so whenever it goes live, this will not be available, and whenever you want to finish, you just click ESC and you leave the game. So the styles are still a bit ongoing, so here is my idea that I'm working on. Today was the day to work on the styling, so basically I'm adapting the backgrounds, because just if you would have seen the previous live sessions from yesterday and the day before, they are 1 hour sessions, so you can just take a look at them on how it went, how it progressed. But basically it was everything squares and circles, like the enemies, but both the background and the main character player. So now we're moving this visual part to make it look more like a game. And we still miss the enemies, that this is what it's been doing it now. Like basically I asked to improve the enemies, and here it says that the current combat layer has only 3 enemies definition, and the room generator already carries department metadata, so the cleanest extension is to make departments an explicit spawn filter while keeping boss logic separate. I'm also checking the existing sprite sheet and room paintings at native scale before generating the enemy atlas, so that new art reads as part of this game rather than pasted on concept art. This was one of the questions I had yesterday. I was not sure if just Codex would generate proper images and I would have otherwise use ChatGPT website to generate the assets, and then with this imagery go into the Codex. But yeah, Codex uses this, verifies that it's has similar style and everything, so that's good. Then I've set it on an 11 character roster with explicit department affinities. HR gets the morale recalibrator, IT gets the ticket reaper, legal gets the close enforcer, finance areas get the ledger golem, and so on, plus 2 general office threats and the boss. The generated art will use invisible physics hitboxes underneath, so combat stays reliable while every visible enemy becomes an illustrated sprite. Perfect, the first sprite is a strong match, same painted character treatment, a clean side-facing silhouette, and it holds up to game scale, and I'm generating the department specialist from that same log art brief now. And after this pass, I'll remove the chroma backgrounds locally and crop each sprite. So okay, it's been 3 images. I guess it will take up to 11. So if I refresh here, there would not be anything, just the feature ideas changes. Yesterday, this part took, well, not this part, but the part where the background was generated, that at the end were quite a few images too. It took 16 minutes and some seconds, I think it was. So yeah, I think that this will be the last thing that we do, because it's been already been 53 minutes, and as I said, I want to take the sessions for around 1 hour, so maybe on the weekend I can take longer, but not today. Okay, then once this is done, I think tomorrow we'll still do some more visuals part. Maybe the adapt doors, because I don't know if you've seen, but those doors do not feel like in the game. Also, I'm afraid on how it would look, because here those 2 doors in the middle of the backgrounds, it's kind of weird. Also the platforms, again, I think that it would make sense to have the platforms only if there are objects. So yeah, I think that this here, where I said about the review platform generation of value, maybe maybe add items on top of them that are required to open some doors or to do some things. Maybe also that's a good part of missions, like do it in less than X seconds, or I don't know, don't lose any HP, or I don't know, etc. Here we can ask AI for different missions ideas. Yeah, for that, before it needs to come here, so some doors can only be opened with some keys. Items must be displayed earlier in earlier rooms to avoid impossible runs. Yeah, I think that this will come later, but let's first, not even this more item power up, I think it can come later. I don't know. I have a lot of ideas and they keep increasing, so. Okay, I still see there's the second viewer. I don't know if. What do you think about the idea? What do you think about the game? Any message on the chat would be really welcome. At the end, here the hardest part is to find what's worth to build first as the MVP, because as you see, I'm just coming up with new ideas, and with that I can be here like for forever. So I think that it's having some feedback of external people, it's also nice. For sure, when I reach an initial point, I'll try to ask some close people to what they think, but yeah, you know, with close people like friends, family, it's always hard, because sometimes they just want to make you happy and they say some things, or maybe they are not actually the target people that would play this game. So having anyone has feedback, I think it's good. Also, maybe I'm thinking on by the end of this challenge, I'll need to put it in, well, for sure somewhere in the domain, but this is not the issue here. I'll need to publish it or promote it somehow in Reddit or some forums to have this initial feedback and keep building on top of that. So maybe this game can be a longer project than in 7 days I build, yeah, for sure, but then I can just keep improving in time and add some, I don't know, multiplayer or challenges or whatever things. As you see, I have a lot of ideas that they just continue coming up. Let's see, I've settled here. The first sprite is strong match. The art pass is nearly complete. The silhouettes are deliberately varied. Hoverers, ranged specialists, duelists, and heavy tanks, so the roster is readable before players even notice the labels. The runtime stat and behaviors will mirror those visual goals. Let me refresh here. So now it didn't generate an image yet. It's been 15 minutes now. Okay, it's doing things. I like to see which thing is it changing, because it says that it's adding lines, but I don't know which lines it's adding. Maybe it's just the image and it's writing its bytes, or is it changing the different things we have in here, like the game scene or something? No, I don't think so. Property width does not exist on time. Room definition. How is this? Room definition? Yeah, it is. Run manager does not exist. Resume run. Well, yes, it exists. Render player art has not exported. Prepare player animations. Oh, it is exported. Okay. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of opening and closing it. Okay, it has created quite a few images here. So assets, not props, not players, not rooms. Where is it? Oh, here, enemies. Okay, so this for sure looks better. Let's see how it feels when it moves. Yeah, I don't know if it would require to have some. Yeah, also there's audit drone with the bullet here. I don't think the bullet fits. But yeah, let's see if it finishes. It's been minutes already, 16. How much time did I say it took yesterday? The player sprite, not here like before. Here the room background. It took 16 and 21. 16, 21, so it's 21 seconds left to have the same time. The thing it's not only generated those, it also generated a new sprite, process enemy. Then there's more enemy types. Then the whole enemies on definition on what they do, how they are, the description, the behavior, the width, the speed, a lot of things, label, color. The enemy art just loads the image as the texture for the thing. That's good. I think I will ask. Well, I'll first wait to see how it goes. 1648 for sure. It's been the longest generation in this project now. But good. All 11 sprites are now in the project as cropped RGBA asset, about that much total, including the HR exclusive moral recalibrator and the illustrated boss, which is a boss. Regional Overlord, I guess this is the final one. Yeah. I'm writing the last major piece now, data-driven stat AI, so the visual archetypes also play differently instead of being cosmetic reskins. That's good. It's modifying the enemies, the games. There's no more combat controller. Why did it remove the combat controller? Maybe it is creating it from moving the logic to each of the enemies, or reload enemy art. Yeah, and we also load those enemy spawns. Yeah, I'm keen on looking what happens with this combat controller. I mean, there were a lot of things here like, well, not the end was like things related with the enemies. Here now the enemy definitions exist, and when you spawn an enemy, there's more an enemy pool for the department, and depending on the department, it generates one or the other. That's good. Yeah, and the last one, the boss, is this regional overlord. So it's good. again, we're in the same situation as before. 18 minutes, yeah, it's a lot of time to be doing nothing. If I wouldn't be here, I mean recording this or streaming it, I would have gone to the kitchen or just go to the room or do some other stuff at home while this executes. But also this takes me some time to think about this and not just execute, go out and leave it continue. So this also is good. And again, during those 19 minutes that I could be doing everything else or just look at this and think, for sure I would not have been able to create all that stuff by myself. I mean, if I would have been able to create this image in 18 minutes, I would be more than happy. So yeah, I think that all this stuff in 20 minutes, it's kind of awesome. So here the combat controller, it's not removed but it's updated, so now it's the wiring of the gameplay is complete. Every combat room now guarantees its department signature enemy first, then mixes in local general threads. HR specialist is constrained to HR and benefit rooms. Type check and production builder clean. And this is another thing that it's great, that it creates different seeds, like in this case 500 seeds, to validate and check that all the 11 types work as they should. So this is something great about also Codex on any other AI agent like Pilot, Codex or whatever. Yeah. So he's doing the final served asset smoke test and reviewing the change set for anything unrelated. Again, 20 minutes, 21 already. I should be able to already run it though. Well, it has refreshed something here. So this is the fear I had, that yeah, some of them were looking fine, but not all of them. Like for example, this does not look like it's working. So also, what I'm not sure is if they would turn around if I this flies in that direction. Yeah, this is good. No, I think this is too easy if I just point to them. So keep manual approval for the moment. So yeah, for sure this I will save it. Add sprites, images for enemies. I'm pushing all that to my private repository, and here I will leave the session. I think it's been great. Again, here 81. Before leaving, I will ask two things, and yeah, just leave it here, and tomorrow when I'll start the recording we'll see the results. So let me ensure this is all clean, there's nothing here. Perfect. I'll open the future changes because maybe I can use. Good. However, I would like the enemies to have sprites to feel more animated as the main player character. ensure they use sprites with this is what I said. Also the fact of the bullets moving vertically to attack enemies feels wrong. I would instead make sure the bullets go always horizontally, and if there are flying enemies, the level should have platforms at the proper height to be able to go up and shoot them. The enemies, however, can attack in diagonal. If they are flying, they can shoot bullets at you while being on the floor. So this is my last prompt. Here we'll stop the recording from today because I will be leaving soon also. Then the next thing will be just let me take a screenshot for tomorrow's video. Here we have the image. So yeah, take a look how it changed from the very first thing that we generated. So here with the images, here is what I did the first day when I just asked ChatGPT to generate an image for the thumbnail. This is what it was expecting to build. Then we actually built something and it created this game. This is what we had 2 days ago, and now we are already having this. So I think that we are doing it quite a progress for day 3 and just using mostly AI because I didn't do anything. I think it's a good progress. So we'll leave it here for today. Again, if you watch it, thank you. Just drop a like and put any comment. It will be helpful to get some feedback on it. The sooner the better. And let's see you tomorrow with more. Bye bye.